Great.
Welcome to the session today. Is this your first webinar this year, Ama? This is like your third or something?
This is my 17th, 18th webinar this year.
17th or 18th webinar? Hey, you've done so many webinars, Bana.
Yeah, but not necessarily on co-working, on other things. So,
Anyway, thank you. Thank you for joining in. We're supposed to start at around 8 p.m. So
okay.
I'm audible on. You can hear me.
Cool. I can very well.
Uh-huh. Okay, good.
How is my audio on your end?
Yeah, I can hear you well. I can hear you well.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
You have better tech than I do, so just confirming.
Okay. All right. Thank you for agreeing to join in today's webinar. Actually, how long have you been in co-working, by the way?
10 years this year.
10 years in co-working spaces.
From 2015.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. That's quite interesting. Anyway, I'm glad I'm your client.
Yeah, I'm happy that you are.
Good. So anyway, I think we can actually start, though we're still expecting a few other guys. Yeah. So we're expecting. Do you have video on your end, Ama? We operate like that. We do it.
I don't.
Songe nalo, eh?
Songe nalo.
All right. No worries.
Thank
So
you.
we are live on TikTok. And for those guys who might be wondering why we have this particular webinar today, it's because our discussion today is going to be about co-working spaces, remote work and co-working spaces. We are looking forward to an engaging conversation. We are live on Google Meet as well as on TikTok. So for anyone who is joining in from TikTok, you can easily find us live. We are talking about remote work and co-working spaces, as that's the thing we're going to be talking about today. So my name is Elvis. I am a creator. Majorly, I'm on TikTok. You can also find me on Facebook. You can also find me on Instagram. I try and educate youth on skills development, personal development, as well as learning skills. Apart from that, I'm a freelancer, and I've been doing that for let me say not quite a number of years, but it's like over 7 years, which is an amazing thing. Well, at the moment, you realize that we have a lot of developments when it comes to people working from home. We also have developments in remote work. We also have developments when it comes to freelancing. And co-working is one of the most amazing developments that we've seen over the years. And today, I have none other than Faith Nzomo, who happens to be the general manager, Skyrise Business Center. Skyrise being a co-working space that is based in Westlands. How many guys have been in co-working spaces before? Tuulize tu swali. Unajua ni vizuri kuuliza hiyo swali. Someone might be wondering what a co-working space is. How many people have been in co-working spaces before? Like if you have been in a co-working space, you can even comment in the chat section. You can actually comment in the chat section in Google Meet, or you can comment in the Slack chat. Kizungu bana inaleta shida. Ni kizungu ama ni kizwa? Ni kizungu, yeah. So, yeah. I think I just want to start immediately. Faith.
Yes, sir.
I think we just want to start immediately. I think we can start with a very simple introduction on who you are. I don't want to introduce you.
All right. Thank you so much once again, Elvis, for having me tonight. My name is Faith Nzomo. I am the general manager at Skyrise Business Center. We are centrally located in Westlands, just next to the Sarit Center, a building called Western Heights. We are on 8th floor. The co-working side has been in operation for about 2 years now. And we have different options. As we dig into the discussion, I believe we shall speak about that. Besides that, I am a mom. I have to mention that I have two little boys, 5 years and 1 year. And yes, I do business development, marketing, customer service. I'm just, a jack of all trades. So that's me.
You do a lot of things.
I do.
Usiniambie unapanda nyanya. In Mkikuyu, you're going to hear Mkikuyu saying, by the way, nakuanga na vitunguu nimepanda.
Unajua leo nimeorder plants napanda hii Saturday. Lazima tulime bana.
Plants?
I mean, yeah, I farm kidogo.
Or you farm kidogo, eh?
Mhm.
That's very good. How has it been like someone who has been in co-working for so long? Because let me say, mimi sijaiona co-working space. The first time I saw a co-working space was in 2023.
Wow.
That was the first time. I never believed there is something like co-work. What really inspired you to like get into the co-working space environment generally?
Great. So when I was in campus, I'm a millennial. Hello. So when I was
Mhm.
in campus, in the year 2020, no, not 20, I graduated in 2014, so can't be 20 something. So it was, I think, 2012. I managed to travel kidogo out of the country, and I visited this beautiful country that had a co-working space. That was the very first thing that I saw that blew my mind, whereby, different business entrepreneurs would just sign up, plug in, get to work, interact, network. And I felt that was so cool. At the time, we didn't have anything like that in Nairobi. So when I came back, back to school, went through, college, graduated, and to getting a job was hard at the time, but I was keen on just trying to see, are we having this concept anywhere in the country? And in 2014 December, that is when one of the first co-working spaces was really booming. Actually, it was actually the talk of the town at the time. And I can give them a credit. That is Nairobi Garage. And I was like, I really want to go see this place. At the time, they were in Ngong Road. And when I went there, I mean, my mind again was really blown. And I applied. I was like, allow me to intern or volunteer. At first, I failed the interview, by the way. And well, I was relentless. I applied again and they took me in. And that is where my journey in 2015 started. And I've never looked back. Since then, my interest has been in this. I love to see businesses grow. I witnessed several businesses that are the talk of town today. For instance, Uber, they started as a co-working space. One desk went to two desks. At the time, actually, they used to give drivers iPhones, and they
Hmm.
just had a dedicated desk, what we call private shared at Skyrise. And before you know it, these guys are expanding left, right, and center. And it's because of the environment, the support, the networking, and just meeting like-minded individuals in one environment, or rather one sitting. You need an app, that person is just across the street in the same floor. So for me, it was really exciting just to see that, and meeting clients of all caliber in the innovation world, the creative world, in the tech, lawyers. It was so exciting for me, and growing my network. So that is where my interest started.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's really interesting, by the way. Yep. And Susan, if Susan is in the session, please share the link to the various WhatsApp groups. So many guys are asking how they can join the session. So please do so right now so that people can actually start joining in. Now, I'm going to go directly to the first question. What is Skyrise Business Center? And what really makes Skyrise unique as a co-working space?
Well, very good question. And I believe some of our clients are in the webinar tonight, and you are one of my very good clients. So
Yes.
Skyrise Business Center is one of the newest co-working spaces in Nairobi. We are centrally, again, located in Westlands. So what we do is we have office spaces from as small is a 10K package. Even 5,000 you will get, to big offices that can host teams of 10 to 15 people. I look at co-working like a modern cyber cafe, whereby we have given you the internet connection, because look, you cannot work without fast internet speeds. We give you, a conferencing facilities whereby, say you are going to do a pitch, or you just have a meeting, or you're going to, have interviews, whatever it is, you're meeting your employers or employees, whichever meeting it is that you have, trainings, we have given you facilities and tech that supports that. So that is what Skyrise Business Center is all about. We have different clients from different walks. And hey, if you're looking at a place where it can support your entrepreneurial journey, Skyrise is the place. And the staff that I work with, I believe, are in the session tonight. George, who is our head of digital, is in here. Juliet, our head of IT, myself, the general manager. We literally sit at the reception so that all your needs are taken care of, from the people that are coming to see you, to your bookings, to pushing your brand. That is what we are all about. So karibu sana to Skyrise Business Center.
Okay. I've like, if I really get to ask you this particular question, do you have any friends who are like freelancers?
You?
Oh, not me included.
Yeah, I do have friends that are freelancers, and some of them are in the building. And I'm just, by building, I mean in the session tonight. And some of them didn't know anything about co-working space until I talked to them about it. Look, this concept was not even very popular until COVID happened. And I'm sure there are people in the house who are hearing about how co-working space works for the very first time. So yes, I do have friends who are freelancers. They're working from home remotely, and they get to pop in for day passes or just virtual office. So yes, agreed.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's really amazing anyway. And how has the demand of co-working spaces changed over the past few years? Because one of the things that I tend to really think resonates with so many people is that when people realize that they don't have to work in offices, and let me say, COVID really brought the development of co-working spaces in Kenya. Because
Yeah.
if you told me something about a co-working space in 2019, I would have told you I am not interested.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right. You see, when COVID happened, that meant curfews, it meant people going home, it meant cutting on your overheads. And entrepreneurs were very keen on where they were going to spend their money. It also opened up our minds about also remote working. I mean, there are employees that had never worked from home until COVID happened. So since then, people were keen on, how do I cut on cost? How do I still keep, my overheads on the minimal? How do I still, get my staff paid without still, getting into crazy debt? And that is where the concept of co-working began to, come into the light, because before then people were comfortable setting up the traditional kind of offices. They were comfortable, paying for, cleaners, reception services, setting up furniture. I mean, the overheads can be crazy to set up office. So since then, that's when people came to realize, hey, I can actually take an office within an office. Even this, this concept. Let me mention something, Elvis. I still remember when we were starting out at the very first co-working space that I worked in. Even the government officials could come wondering, how do you have a space within a space and you're offering this kind of service? But now they do understand that co-working concept can actually take care of even some paperwork and certifications that you as an entrepreneur need to have your operations going. So from COVID, we've seen a very high rise of co-working spaces. At the time, we just had like one or two giants in town, but right now, for instance, in Westlands, because look, your location has to be key, we have about 10 to 15 co-working spaces in Westlands alone. And
10
this
to 15.
10 to 15.
I've only visited 2.
I need to take you around, but take you back to Skyrise.
Okay. That's an interesting relationship anyway. Okay. Um, But the question I normally also like to ask really
Mhm.
is, I've been to a co-working space and I realized that it was crowded.
Yeah,
How do you guys regulate that? Because most of the time, like every freelancer, like co-working spaces at the moment are a hot thing. Like everyone wants to be in a co-working space. Like acha nisikudanganye. Someone like for me as a freelancer,
Mhm.
I might enjoy working from home. But at one point you'll be like, hey, it's honestly there's that boredom you get when you're alone in the house for a whole week.
That's right.
So when you go to a co-working space, you have that, let me call it some kind of energy because you're finding other people. Probably you find like fellow digital marketers,
Mhm.
you find fellow programmers. And I realize that most co-working spaces, especially the ones that try to offer cheap packages, have a
Mm.
problem with overpopulation. How do you guys handle that?
So when you walk to Skyrise Business Center, the first thing that you see is actually two receptions.
Mhm.
There is one that our head of IT in the house, Juliet, sits at, and there is where myself and George we sit. The very first thing, even when you're setting up a business, the first thing that you want to do is to run an A/B test to know who is actually your target. Because Elvis, not everybody out here will actually fit into a co-working space. If you are not careful, you'll just attract everybody and it becomes messy. So the very first thing that we did was to understand what actually is our target here. So we do have a side, which is the elite side, that takes care of most of the guys. They're actually multinationals. And the reason why we have that side is mostly for mentorship. That as you start your business at the business center, the co-working side, you can see where you actually headed, that you can grow your SME to a certain level that you can actually afford a bigger office. At the SME side as well, the kind of niche that we have is also different. You will find that, for instance, Elvis, you are a creative. You can, grow from there. You'll find someone else who is in tech. We love tech. So you'll find many guys there. The people that we push this brand for are either in tech, they are creatives as well. You'll find lawyers in the house as well, and on the other side, and guys, you are our target as well. And tours and travel, and look, we are service based, not product based. So for instance, you can't come and sell clothes
Oh,
at the
yeah.
co-working space.
Mtumba, eh?
Kidogo usichomoe vitu
Mm.
interesting hapo. And then when we are signing you up, we really dig deep. KYC, we want to know, what are you all about? Are you actually registered? Are you, VAT compliant? So is your business legit? Because look, there are co-working spaces that have hosted cons. Oh, tunawapeleka sijui nchi gani kidogo, you've lost money. So we have to really dig deep and understand, are you actually legit? And again, if you're legit, our doors are open.
Oh, okay. When you mean legit, kidogo unasema watu wa wash wasikuje kwa ofisi yako.
Alijaribu, mi nakuitia polisi. The thing
Ah.
is, I have to see the paperwork that you have. For example, do you have business of incorporation, one of the most basic certifications? Where is your CR12? Who do you work with? Can you share your ID copy with us? Where is your KRA pin for your company, for the directors? And say you are actually a freelancer, you are more than welcome, but just show us your identification. Let's see your website. What are you all about? So the percentage of hosting someone who is not genuine is almost 0.1111%.
I'm going to give you an illustration over here, Faida,
Go for it.
and I hope you resonate with this illustration.
Okay.
So there are guys who set up fake investment companies. Nowadays, they're called agencies. Someone sets up an agency, and I've been one guy who's been investigating some of them, and most of them are actually operating in co-working spaces.
Yeah.
Have you heard of these guys who tell you that if you invest 100,000 in something they're offering,
Yeah.
you will get a certain return after a certain period of time?
Yeah. I
Now,
have.
most of these guys are actually going to set up their offices. They will set them up in co-working spaces because I don't think when you're like going to a co-working space, you don't need to pay for a county government license, right?
Not quite.
You use the
But
license
again,
under the co-working space, yeah?
you can use the license under the co-working space, but we have to also understand the nature of business that you are in. You can only hide for so long.
So ideally, you guys do due diligence as compared to other guys who are like, hey, if you're running a business, that's cool. We don't care about what you're
Exactly,
doing.
exactly. And we have lawyers in the house. I mean, we also
Mm,
have a legal team that does also the background check for us. It's not just us as staff or the owner of
mhm.
the business. We do. And one thing that you might have noticed, Elvis, is I do sit downs with our clients just to understand where is your business at. If a client comes visiting you, by the way, I would want to also hear their feedback on what you are offering. So as soon as I get an idea that what you are doing is not what you registered, I'm sorry, we'll just refund your deposit and you're out.
Hey, Maze, I'm not chills, bana.
Ni reputation bana.
But it's true. Mm,
Biashara kujenga si rahisi. Just,
mm.
everybody in the house who is in business, just as you just put yourself in the shoes of someone trying to break your business by bringing, illegal stuff. I mean, no one wants that. So we also have to protect the name of the, co-working space. Because look, we are hosting serious businesses, such as yourself. You don't want to be associated with that, do you?
True, true, true. I don't want to. Now, what's the real advantage of operating from a co-working space as compared to operating like getting a traditional office?
Yeah,
And because I think a traditional office is quite expensive, if you ask me.
it is.
Uh, what's the real advantage? Maybe you can touch on the advantage of operating from a co-working space
Yeah.
on the side of a freelancer
Mhm.
and the side of a business owner or probably someone who works remotely, as compared to setting up an office
Mhm.
and having your office as the base of operations.
That's great. I like this question, and it's because one of the reasons why I actually agreed to this webinar is freelancers need to know that you don't need the millions to begin. And if you've been sitting at home wondering where do I even start, and you have this big idea, you just don't know where do I even go, you are now at the right place. Because look, the first thing and one of the benefits and the leading benefit is the flexibility and affordability. I started by saying that the kind of packages that we have and the Skyrise, we are more than open to customize a package that works for your need. And I believe this is one of the reasons why I really had to take business development course for this, because number one is I want to understand your need. Where are you at when it comes to the number of staff that you have? Where are you at when it comes to the support that you need to push your business? So the very first thing is how affordable the package will be. Let me give you a scenario. There's a package we call business address. Business address, what that does for you, it speaks to your audience or your clientele to know that this is exactly where my office is. Look, you don't necessarily need an office actually under this package. What you need is just knowing this is where my business is, and if I do have a meeting, I can actually book out the boardrooms that we have. We have about 6 of them at a very affordable rate. So you work with appointments. Clients know this is where so and so's office is in Westlands. I have to work with an appointment. We sit at the reception, as I started by saying. So when your clientele walks in, number one, presentation, the aesthetics of the space. Already you have won because this is so professional at only 5,000 Kenya shillings. Then you grow your business to a point where you can afford the next package, which is 10,000. Now you can afford to work a few days at the office, have the business address, at the same time be able to meet your clients at some complimentary amount of hours. And this affordability also helps you to scale up. You can start with a very small package. Before you know it, I started by mentioning the story of Uber because I witnessed it from 1 desk to 2 desks to 5 desks to a whole floor. You got to believe that your empire can grow to that point even before you start. So that is affordability and just how you can scale up. The second advantage is the opportunities for growth when it comes to networking. Come on now, your network is your net worth. When you come to Skyrise, for instance, we have Elvis, for example. You're looking for someone who can help you with digital marketing. He is right there. You need a website. Someone is right there. You need financial, solutions. There's somebody who is there. You're tired, you want to travel. There's someone who can help you with that. The networking not only helps you grow your business, but the confidence to just go for your goals. Because if somebody is doing it in a private office with the number of staff, Why not me? So that is the second advantage. The third advantage might sound really funny, but it's the relationships and the connections that you build. There's a co-working space I worked for 5 years. Two people got married. I was the best couple, yo. So I'm not saying you're gonna find love, but you can. Relationships are key. You're gonna build friends in there. You're gonna build partners in business. I mean, come on. It's where you spend 8 hours, if not more. So you never know what will grow from there. I mean, friendships, relationships, whatever. But yeah, it is one of the key things.
I think yeah, that's very important. And why did you have to say that, guy? You can find your boyfriend or your girlfriend over.
I don't wanna say why, but it's just a possibility.
Sasa utafanya, unajua there's some thirsty guys who are like, "Hey, by the way, sinanga dem, acha niende kwa working." Yeah.
Usikuje juu hiyo ndo main reason, lakini kuja patana na watu, you never know what that could grow, you know.
Uh,
And work life balance, umesema Elvis, kidogo watu wanaboekea home. Why
yeah.
stay home when you can actually come and work with like-minded people? Your entrepreneurial journey does not need to be boring.
And I
Come
think
on.
I actually like that aspect of you speaking as it is because um, I'm that person who's seen freelancers. You know, most freelancers call themselves introverts. Yep. I'm an introverted person. So what they do is they buy a dog or they buy a cat, and that cat becomes like a bestie. You get me?
Bestie,
Yeah.
kidogo kuna void friendly, a dog might not feel I love pets, but yo,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think talking about co-working spaces being an environment where you can go and probably even meet people
Yeah.
you can actually professionally engage with
True.
is really amazing because I've also gotten clients just being in a co-working space itself.
Right.
And Pia, there's this whole idea like most people want to open businesses. Like if you think about setting up an office in Westlands and like getting an entire office or probably getting an entire floor or even getting a unit in a floor, it's honestly quite expensive.
It is. It is.
But I think a co-working space will just allow you to go within a period of like, how long does it take for you to onboard someone and just like set them up and everything and just allow them to start working?
When you are at the space, less than 5 minutes.
Less than 5 minutes and everything is done for you.
You're all onboarded.
So even someone like I'm aware of the day pass where you only pay, it's 2,300 or?
Yeah, it's 2,000 before VAT, so inclusive comes to 2,320.
Yeah. When you pay for an entire day pass, and first of all, you test out the environment. I like it because of the entertainment, not the entertainment, the internet, sorry, and the coffee. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you've really talked about networking itself. And what role does Skyrise Business Center play, especially when it comes to networking, not only for its residents, but for potential clients?
Great. So I will also mention about the residents because there's a very beautiful story that I just got today of two of our clients who just met less than 3 months ago, and they flew out of the country to just go do business together. And before I know it, another client is just joining one of the companies that are hosted there, and they're doing amazing things. So to potential now clients who would love to join our community, we have so many value additions that you can get, and especially from the networking opportunities that we give. I love to call it dedicated networking because it's just exactly what your business needs. For instance, I started by that story because this gives you an opportunity to not only strengthen your network when it comes to business, but also to grow your brand. When I looked at their story and the things that they're able to achieve at this point in their in their entrepreneurial journey, it took a party willing to talk to the other party, like, hey, and I'm very good with introducing people. Hey, Elvis, please meet so and so. From there, it is your duty now to follow up that conversation. So this is what I do. If our businesses sort of merge at any point, then we can actually work together. So if you're looking at your business growing, don't work from home entirely. you need to step out of your door and walk to a co-working space. And you also are able to tap into different networks of ideas. There are I love to, listen into conversations that I'm allowed to listen in, and just hearing the different ideas our clients talk about. I'm like, where was this 20 years ago? Because I'm like, hearing that in 2025, I can only imagine where we will be as Nairobi in 2030 when it comes to development, when it comes to technology, when it comes to business growth, and especially SMEs that are now at that stage where they're trying to raise revenue and grow because of the networking opportunities that we have in a co-working space. So that is the number two that I would love to talk about. And number three is access to job opportunities. You said it, Elvis. There are jobs that you have been able to get courtesy of just being in a co-working space, because someone is looking for a website, you are the guru in it, you will pick that up. Someone is looking for digital marketing solutions, where will they look that for, at a co-working space? And we know who is doing what, so we point them at the right direction. Building your confidence, you cannot hide behind your personality when you are in a co-working space. We will force you to talk. We will introduce you to people. It helps you grow your confidence. One of my clients was just telling me the other day that when they joined and they really couldn't speak to anyone. They could stay in their office from morning till, evening. They just carry their bag. And then a week later, they are able to speak up, share what they are doing, and they're just but employees. And I'm like, I'm glad you are growing. You are able to express what your company, or rather your employer's company, is all about. You've been able to get, your targets are met because you're able to know, where do I get the next business? And getting your career advice and support. I have seen that happen a million times. There's a guy I work with in the house, George. George is a people's person. George knows what everybody does. So when you come to the desk and you're looking for an advice already, you'll go like, let me introduce you to so and so. We not only go ahead to book an appointment with them, but we also get you that contact and book a meeting for you, so you are able to do that and just grow your brand. So yes, that's what I can emphasize when it comes to networks.
Networking is actually very important, actually, and I'm happy to hear you mention that.
Yeah.
I also like the events that you guys organize. Unajua kuna washamba kama sisi, there are times you go and it's good to be challenged. At least peer, I think when you network with guys, you're also able to pick new things and fresh ideas, like even dressing styles. Unaweza kuwa unafikiria unavaanga vizuri sana, and then you meet someone who is dressed sharper than you, and you're like, hey, okay, I think I need to up my game, as well as conversations, because
Yeah.
I think so many people are stuck in the loop of working from home that you eventually don't cultivate the aspect of conversing with people. And I think being in a co-working space itself allows you to communicate and even talk to people. And I like the idea. I'm only trying to get the photo of your kitchen. I like the idea of the open kitchen where you're seated with someone and you will not sit quiet. You'll have to speak to them.
You have to.
Yeah. Eventually, you're like, okay, let me just speak at this point. But I'm going to go. I'm going to go to throw this particular question to you. Kenya currently is experiencing a very huge number of startups. Very many people, startups, businesses, professionals are actually coming up so fast. If you look at platforms like LinkedIn at the moment, Kenyans are slowly getting on LinkedIn at a very high rate.
Right.
Like, look, a country like Nigeria really adopted social media platforms and using social media in the past. But currently, you realize that due to the current rate of unemployment, you're finding that so many people are actually just thinking outside the box and starting businesses, becoming professionals. Guys are even getting into content creation. Now, the question I'm having is, most co-working spaces at the moment, I've realized, are really trying to support the ideology of startups.
Yeah.
Where you guys allow, is it like hubs, like where someone can actually come and you allow these startups to just start their businesses from scratch and provide infrastructure that can allow them to scale or just grow. At the same time, I might throw this question to you. First of all, do you like Gen Zs?
Why are you asking if I like Gen Zs?
because they are co-working spaces that don't like Gen Zs.
Oh, I mean, if there are people who are brilliant and I've been able to see them go for, they don't have chills. I must say that. It's something
Mhm.
millennials we are learning through, Gen Zs. They do not have chills and they are go-getters. From the interviews I've actually had, and also from friends that are also interviewing Gen Zs, someone will actually tell you on your face, look, I'm not looking for a full-time job because I'm running an SME of myself, so I'm looking for part-time. And if I can work from home, even better. That was unheard a few years ago. So yes, I do not mind Gen Zs. They're helping us, open up our minds to
Gen
possibilities.
Zs are, if you ask me, Gen Zs are self-aware and they're not afraid of speaking.
They are not afraid.
They're not afraid of airing out what they think and what. And that's why
No.
first, I think most people think that Gen Zs are some kind of entitled kids. Have you heard that before? When a Gen Z tells you, "I don't do that," you're like, "Hey, you are very entitled." Yeah.
Yep, I have.
Now,
I've had
going
that.
back to this, back to the startup idea.
Hmm.
How does Skyrise Business Center?
Yep.
What does it provide generally, especially for, let me say, startups,
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, and just let me say startups and entrepreneurs?
Yeah. So, one of the packages I started by talking about just a business address, and also actually the three of us being keen on business development, is because of the amount of startups that we meet. And a startup doesn't necessarily mean that you've been in the business for a while, you're making, a certain percentage or millions. No, 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 no. Sometimes it's just, I just started and I'm looking at a place where I can, meet my clients when I have appointments, a place where I can pop in and work. And some of them will actually, again, Gen Zs, I've had someone just tell me, look, mimi sina hizo milioni mnatafuta za maofisi in Westlands, because look, Westlands is deemed to be a very high-end place. It is, but people think that office in Westlands is not affordable. And this is why now co-workings have come in to help people understand that you actually do not need that huge amount of money to give credibility to your business. So if you are in the space where you just started and you're looking at a place where you can start, that is why, George and I and Juliet, we are keen on just having a sit down to help you narrow down to your needs and what priorities look like, and tailor making packages that actually can work for you. Again, we've had
Mm.
situations where clients have also downsized. Like, hey, I thought this package could actually work, but I can no longer afford 20,000 for rent. What I have is 10,000. What do you have for me? And we are able to evaluate all the options on the table and settle on something that can actually work for your business. So yes, I do agree. Skyrise Business Center is not just about the, 2,500 USD kind of offices. We do have as little as 10,000 package that can actually allow you to use complimentary hours for boardrooms and a few days in a month, and you can effectively carry out your duties as per your company needs.
I think there's something you've also not mentioned, that you have 24/7 access.
Absolutely. Yeah. We do have, you can come to the space anytime. And look, we do have people who are working for, clients that are on different time zones. So you cannot limit that. So clients are able to access the space anytime that they need to. They are almost independent because look, we have a shared kitchen. You know where to go get your coffee. You know where to go get your drinking water. Our lights, where literally where everything is. Internet connection super fast. So I am actually just there to listen to your business needs and help you grow. So you can be there by yourself, or when I'm there, there's no limit.
Do you think Kenya needs more co-working spaces? Like, as a
Uh-huh.
future trend, do you think Kenya needs more co-working spaces?
Actually, co-working spaces is the future for workspace. And if there is, an investor in the webinar tonight who has been wondering, where do I put in my money? Consider a co-working space.
Mhm.
People are
Because
tired of traditional offices. People are tired of, just walking into just your own office. You'll not see anybody else throughout the day. I mean, just come and see the aesthetics, the community, the spaces, and how creative they are, the energy. and you are sold.
I think for me, any person who is like a freelancer or an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
I think it's a high time most people stopped like putting themselves in offices and these humongous big offices just because you're trying to look for the pomp and the glamour or something like that.
Yep.
And yet you're very, very lonely. Have you seen these guys who like run startups, and the guy has like an entire floor,
Right.
and you realize, you ask the guy, why do you need the entire floor, and you just have like 3 or 5 employees?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
So,
point. Okay, well, maybe that's the nature of how their model looks like, but that's changing as well. It
like
is
someone
true.
like someone like me, imagine like Elvis taking an entire floor.
Mm-mm.
At
Look,
the-
Elvis, for instance, you see, and I shared this with you, especially when it comes to the plans of expansion that we have. If
Mhm.
you're looking for boardrooms, they're right there. You don't need to set up an office and still set up boardrooms. That's super expensive. Assuming you even want to expand to other locations, other countries, it is so easy for your company to grow when you cut on your overheads because that's taken care of. So I agree. I mean, while I respect different business models, I am embracing co-working more because it's the future.
Okay. Do you have like any advice, like maybe I would like for you to probably share like some tips for freelancers and
Yeah.
entrepreneurs who are looking for an ideal co-working space?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Number one, it all starts with what your business needs look like. And what I mean by that is, for instance, ask yourself, what are your team dynamics? Do you have people that actually need to be in the office, or are they better off in the field? Number two, what is your budget looking like? There's one question I love to ask clients when they come for a tour, which is, what budget should I remain respectful of? You see, only you understand your business inside out. I can only probe to understand where you are at. So when you get to understand what your company needs look like, what are your long term, what are your short term goals when it comes to spending, then we are able to understand where do we actually start. When it comes to industry focus, what kind of space are you looking at? Are you able to find a space that will, because again, this is a question I also get. What makes Skyrise Business Center unique than other co-working spaces? And this is someone who is keen on something. So is your kind of business, focused on collaborations? Are they focused on building connections for your business to stay afloat? So those are questions that you must ask yourself. What are the amenities that you can't do without? Are you keen on meetings? Are you keen on phone booths? Because look, it could be you have to keep making calls to reach out to your clients. It could be just the community, the kind of clientele that we host. That's a question I've gotten when we are doing tours. And the other thing is location. Oh, I cannot insist much on location because it is one of the most important things. Most of the co-working spaces, when you look, Elvis, they are set up in a grade A or B building. And number two, they are very central when it comes to access. Bana, hutaki kuambia client wako kidogo niko hapa, piga kona, utapata mama anauza boiled maize, kidogo piga kona ingine, oh kuna river kidogo, oh barabara imeharibika. You need your client to find you as easily as they can. So where you are taking your business highly determines the future of your business. Where you invite your client speaks so much about the nature of business that you are in. The aesthetics of Skyrise Business Center will actually sell your business before you open your mouth. So the place where your business is located is very key. So it has to be a central location. And one of the reasons I love Westlands is just because of the accessibility. Now we have expressway. Kitambo used to say, if you live in Mombasa Road, Kidogo, accessing Westlands, it's a headache. Now it's not, because you can just alight at James Gishuru na umeingia Westi. So accessibility, location is very key. How flexible are you and what is the scalability of your business? That is something we also ask. So when you're looking for office space, like 10 of you and you take a 2-person office, it's going to be trouble. And if you're looking at expanding, say in 3-4 months, it's good if you take a space that allows you to scale up. And one of the things that I love about co-working space is the affordability, number one, and the openness that we have when it comes to you can just upgrade if you need to do that. Say you are on a 10K package. 2 months down the line, you have an extra staff. You can go to 20K, you can go to 40, you can go, before you know it, again, it's an office we have, you can even get to 300K office that can take 10, 15 people. So the flexibility, the scalability in place is also something else that you must consider. I always say, start small as a freelancer, start small as an SME. Ukimbizani na mtu. Do not overspend on rent when you can actually spend that money on marketing or pushing your brand in other ways. And as you grow, because growth, I believe, is not automatic. You are on a race, but not with anyone, in as much as you're growing and borrowing ideas and, you are in a community. What are your exact needs? And let's grow together. Co-working space is just beyond the desk. It gives you much more than the desk.
All right. I'm so happy to hear that. I think you actually deserve a round of applause. And that's really amazing insights, because I think so many people haven't really heard about co-working spaces before. And I'm so happy that you've brought that conversation up. I think probably before I get to the Q&A session, where guys are going to ask you questions, and if anyone has a question, you can let me just open the queue of everyone who might have a question. So if you're going to be asking a question, make it brief. So if you have any question, you can actually just raise your hand so that we can actually acknowledge that probably you want to ask something. Or if you can also ask your question in the chat section, you can actually just throw it over here. So I'm going to ask you something, Saida. What advice would you give to guys who work remotely? Because with my interactions in co-working spaces, I've realized that there's so many guys who are working remotely, and a remote worker is like a digital nomad.
Yeah.
So what kind of advice would you give to, because I don't think remote workers really need like these expansive office. They just need a place to work.
Yeah. I think I want to start by letting everybody know that our doors are open for a day pass trial, especially if you've never been at a co-working space and you are now at that space where you really want to try it out and try a package. Courtesy of Elvis, and thank you for this, I would love to actually give 10 free day passes between now and end of the month. If you'd love to actually come, you've been working from home, you've been wondering, hii empire yangu sitafanya tu nikiwa Ruaka. I'm inviting you. Just come, give it a shot for a day, and I know you'll make up your mind.
10 free day passes.
10 free day passes. And if you
free day.
Yeah, if you can write this code somewhere so that we can monitor who is coming. The code is #Skyrise25. #Skyrise25.
I think Julie needs to share it over here.
Yeah.
Now, there's a question over here I want to throw to you. Someone has asked this question. What amenities or features should I look for when choosing a co-working space?
That's very key. The very first thing when you come in, after umesema tu hi, ebu waitishe internet connection and run a speed test. Because look, you cannot get work done unless you have a very fast internet speeds. And one of the things tunaringa nayo is because we are sometimes, George, you can even share that if you have it. Sometimes we even hit 200 plus Mbps. I mean, Elvis, so unaweza sema hiyo ni ukweli. At that time in our boardrooms, we are very keen on just ensuring your meetings go well, especially if you are doing it remotely. And for your work, some of you guys have very heavy softwares. You need fast internet speed. So that should be the first thing. The other thing is customer service. How the person you find at the reception treats you. I bet the same way they'll treat your client. So, and that is where we are keen as Skyrise to have myself, Julie, and George sit at the reception, because we know you closing your client is highly dependent on how I handle that client. And
Okay.
if the customer service you receive is questionable, ni kama hospitali, uende utusiwe, utarudi hapo kweli, will you even consider taking their services? No. Please note that that's exactly how your client will be treated. So that is the number 2 thing that you must be keen on. How am I treated over here? Number 3, just walk around. Walk around the space. Even as they take you for a tour, is there some diversity going on? Can you see someone like yourself around that space? That's very key, because that's a community you're coming to join. How is the vibe around the place? Are you, kama me, I love to smile, for example. George is the kind that will engage you on your business before you even talk much about it. He actually will tell you, oh, by the way, you need to talk to so-and-so. We are already introducing you to people that you should actually talk to. You look at Julie. Julie is our head of IT. She will show you exactly how our tech works, even without blinking. She knows it at the tip of her hands. So how vibrant, how well do we know our craft? Because if we do not even know what we are doing, then how will we show you what can be done? So that is very key. The other thing I mentioned is location. When you're looking for a co-working space, please be keen on location. Please be keen. Because number 1, you are introducing this office of yours to your clientele. You don't want guys just, giving up even before they try. So that is the other thing that I can highly, emphasize on. And also, does this space consider events? Because again, you're coming for networking as well. It's more than the desk. For example, we do master classes every other month. We host our own clients and just push their brand online as well. You're looking for people to push your marketing for free? We do that. We'll talk about you if you allow us. So those are just the top 4 or 5 things that I can, talk about at this point.
All right. Thank you for that. I hope Ikonyo's question, Kitonyo. Kitonyo. Now, there's another question. For someone offering repair services like printers and laptops,
Yeah.
do you recommend a remote work environment?
Someone who is doing repairs. Just say that again.
Yeah. For someone offering repair services like printers and laptop repair, would you recommend for them actually having a remote, working in remote workspaces or remote work environments?
Like joining our co-working space, I would ask you to actually take a business address for that, because you see, in as much as it's a service, it's also product based. So your clients, for example, on your website, you can just let them know that this is where I am at, this is where my office is, and just work with appointments in as much as the hardware is not in the office, because we do not have that big of a storage. But again, if you're looking, you have the budget for a very big office, say 4 packs, 5 packs, 6 packs, why not? We can still absorb you.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you. Charles Kilmer says, a very interesting session. Keep it up, Elvis. Thank you so much, Charles. Gerard Kitonyo, again, is asking, how can technology bridge the gap between remote and in-office teams technology?
Yeah. I have one of my clients, and I'm not trying to pitch them in any way. They're called Invent Consulting. This team has over 50 employees, but in the office, they have an office for about 6 people, 7 people. We have the directors sitting at the office, and a few more people from the team, they sit at the office. When it comes to them meeting the entire team, and this is where we have the training room that sometimes you actually use, that can take 40 people, theater style 45. That's when they meet now, the team. Other times they will do, meetings, but the team will loop in online. So it's so easy actually to still manage your team with a very small office. It doesn't matter how big the team is. And when you need to meet them, one of the things that we actually do is, as long as you have an office with us, your team member can either come meet you at the boardroom if you have booked it, or visit the space for free for 2 hours every day. So we have ensured that in as much as your team is working remotely, you can still, ensure that they deliver. And the tech that is in there, as well as I'll still talk about Invent, we do have guys within the space that offer this tech, whereby your team can actually log in and log out, and even ourselves as Skyrise. And as an employer, we can give you those logs at the end of the month. So yeah, possible.
Okay, that's good. That's very, very good, by the way. Before we proceed on, there's a lady called Sylvia. I don't know if Sylvia is in the session actually. Sylvia, no, I hope Sylvia has been listening. Sylvia wants to move to Westlands. Sonko, she's here.
Hey, Karibu
Eh?
Sylvia.
She
Coffee on
wants
me.
to she wants to open an office in Westlands. And I've been telling her you can think about a co-working space. Sylvia,
Mhm.
can you hear me?
Yeah, Elvis. Hi.
Talk to the boss. She's there.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of dropped off at some point. Yes, but I've been looking for an office in Westlands because
Mhm.
I currently have an office, a small office somewhere along Thika Road. So
Mhm.
I'm looking for a space in Westlands actually.
Great. How big is your team?
We are five.
And do you all come to the office on the same day?
Yes, we do.
I'm not going to ask about your budget on this webinar, but yes, we can talk. Please take my personal number. I'll give that. Elvis, you able to text on my personal line?
Yes, actually, let me send it to her just now.
Exactly. And tomorrow morning, if you are open for a call at 9 a.m., I would love to talk to you and we close this.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
Sylvia,
We can talk.
good, good.
Amazing.
Sylvia, we can talk about just for 1 minute. You can talk about the event that we have coming up in April.
Yes, thank you very much. So, as we know, there are so many people who are freelancers, people who own businesses, especially the MSMEs, and we have actually put together an event for us to be able to sensitize these people on how to digitize their businesses so that even you cut on your operational costs after digitizing your business actually, or exploring how to digitize your business, or even how to digitize your operations as a freelancer, you realize that you cut a lot of costs. And so we are actually inviting all freelancers, all consultants, professionals, and business owners to come to this event on the 30th of April at the Weston Hotel. So this event, you can get your ticket at vabu.app, and let's just come and get to learn how to digitize our operations.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for that, Sylvia. I do appreciate. Now, Sonko, I'm going to go back to you to just maybe as we wind up. There's a guy who's raised something very interesting. It has actually gotten me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
He's in agriculture.
Yeah.
So is this conversation relevant to him?
It is very relevant. I actually have a client who is also in agriculture,
Mhm.
and he operates between Rwanda, Uganda, and Kenya. So most of his team is actually in the field. But when it comes to meeting investors or farmers and training them, they do that from the space. So yes, co-working space is actually still a viable solution for you when it comes to like the kind of people that you are meeting, your office operations, like the people that you're working with and you need them at the office. It could be I don't know, the kind of, stuff that you have. But yes, it's a very viable solution for you as well. Because you're not always in the field. It could be there are people that you're actually pitching to, expanding your, your scope. So yes, it is still something you can consider.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Adam Mwangi asks this question. What is the possibility or flexibility of getting a private workspace for about a dozen staff and a
Mm-hmm.
meeting room, both on request for booked appointments for a non-profit organization that does not have a permanent physical office in Nairobi, but has its operations outside of Nairobi?
we do have that solution as well. Elvis, as you've seen in our space, we do have, private offices that are shared. Some are as big as 8 people. We can even put in 12 people. We have the boardrooms. So all I need to know is when you need this office, because that sounds like day passes for a dozen, and then you use the boardrooms for your trainings for whatever amount of days. We are open to customizing this for you because your operations are not yet here.
Okay. So, so what you mean is that you have a package for Adam.
I have a package for you, Adam. Can we talk tomorrow morning? I'm so excited to do that.
Okay. So we've been talking about co-working spaces at the moment, and our guest today has been Faith Nzomo, who happens to be the general manager, Skyrise Business Center. Skyrise Business Center is a co-working space that is based in Westlands. You also mentioned something about expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, as I mentioned, we started 2.5 years ago. The space is almost outgrowing, the number of clients that we have. As I said, a co-working space is a modern cyber cafe in a way, where different business entrepreneurs are in one sitting, different office sizes. And yes, we are looking at now expanding to another location sometime end of this year. So yeah, so that we can also reach out to more people that we are not able to accommodate at the moment.
Okay. Now, as we wind up, it's already 8:57.
Yeah.
There is a question I'm going to throw to you. I think this one is from someone who is running the same business as you.
Nice.
Her name is Liz Karaoke. She runs, hello, I work in a co-working space in Thika, but one of the challenges we are facing on our private office packages. My question is, how do you charge a client who rents an office on a monthly basis, but he or she has workers who keep coming in?
So you said her name is Liz.
Yes.
So Liz, our the different kind of offices that we have is, they're different sizes, or rather they can take different amounts of people. So we have 2 people office, 5 people office, 8 people office. I would highly encourage you to be doing meetings with your own clients to understand where they are at. And that's why I talked about something important called scalability. You cannot have a client in a 2-person office, but they are 4. They cannot just squeeze in another chair because look, also it has to make business sense for your business. So it's either they just expand or you give them a different package that actually works for them. For example, if a client is, say, they have people in the field, they need to also let you know when the extra person is coming. That is where you either ask them to book a boardroom for their meeting, because not everybody can sit in that office. Also for security purposes, on our end, we must know who is coming, at what time, to see who. Do you have an appointment? Have you booked a boardroom? So it is up to you to set the culture in your co-working space on how your clients can carry out, their business needs at the end of the day, so that also your space is not crowded.
Okay. I think they should actually organize some corporate training and come to you and pay you, right?
I wouldn't mind to go and train them. I'll send the invoice.
Perfect. Now, there's a question here. I think maybe you can tell me, how safe is your Wi-Fi when it comes to hacking, and how secure is the place?
That's a very good question. Juliet, I don't want to put you on the spot, but when it comes to our Wi-Fi connection and how safe it is, we do have, I may not answer this to the depth that you need because I'm not in IT, but just the 2 things that I can say is we do have a dedicated link and a firewall that just ensures that it is safe for you. And I don't think our Wi-Fi can actually be hacked. And Juliet, if you are in the house, you can just mention what I've not mentioned on these sentences, just to ensure that, the client is satisfied with the answer. But yes, we have a dedicated link from Safaricom, and we're also working with Starlink for our meeting rooms. How safe we are, we have invested so much in our server and the softwares that ensure that you and I are not hacked. But yes, our IT guru is in the house. Maybe she can add a few more on the comment section.
Okay, I think that's really amazing. Thank you so much, Faith, for the conversation. You say it's 10 slots for those guys who want to visit Skyrise Business Center for free and get like a day pass
Yeah.
and probably think whether they would like to take up the space and just be part of the growing community. I think you might have a few guests probably tomorrow. You can have so many people.
Yeah.
But thank you so much up to this particular point for the insights that you've shared. You've shared. Um, you have to forgive me. It's a slip of the tongue. I'm from the Republic of Nyeri. You know? Yeah.
And we have another offer for the guests tonight. If you're looking at booking a boardroom, if you can book for 2 hours and above, we are willing to give you 1 hour free as well.
Yeah, by the way, like I think you can tell freelancers that they can also book the boardrooms when they want to have meetings with clients.
Yes. And if you attended this webinar, we give you 1 hour free if your meeting is above 2 hours. Again, we are going to just use the same code, which is #Skyrise25.
And you also give them free coffee and
tea is there. Good coffee.
okay. Thank you so much for this. I really do appreciate.
Yeah.
The aspect that you've shared a number of things about co-working spaces is really good. We've had upwards of 250 people, which is we've also recorded the session, so we'll also make it available for any person who's actually missed from the beginning all the way to the end. Thank you so much, Faith, for sharing the information that you've put out here. I think this is going to help freelancers. This is going to help guys who are actually entrepreneurs, guys who want to probably start running businesses. You somewhere to start as compared to just going and getting expensive real estate. Maybe you can share a part short. You can tell guys where they can get more information about Skyrise Business Center. And yes.
So let me just say this. Do not give up on your dream. Do not give up on that company. Somebody has been waiting for that solution. So it's about time you walked to Skyrise Business Center and allow us to, bring your dream to fruition. And if it doesn't scare you, it's not worth starting. And in case you are in that stage where you're like, oh my God, this scares me, then it is not worth starting if it doesn't scare you. So yes, we can be found in every platform. We have our website, which is www.skyrisebusinesscenter.com. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as Skyrise Business Center, and LinkedIn as well as Skyrise Business Center.
Thank you so much, Faith. I do appreciate. I think we can actually give her a round of applause. So many guys have listened to you. We hope to get a conversion. Please, you can join the co-working spaces if you'd like to join. And remember to also continue skilling up. At the end of the day, Nairobi ni ndogo. Westlands is not as expensive as you might think. I also want to say that you can also get some very good coffee from their coffee machine. Huh? It's very good, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good one. So thank you so much, Faith. God bless. Thank you for being part of this session. We had 140 to 300 guys on TikTok. On Google Meet, we had around 100 to 140 guys. So in total, we're talking about 440 in total. Those for the people who've been part of this session. So quite a number of people have listened to you. And I wish you all the best as the general manager, Skyrise Business Center.
Thank you.
Tupatane kesho.
Can I give our phone number for work?
Please.
Anyone who wants to come in, you can text us on WhatsApp on 0790218888. 0790218888. Thank you, Elvis. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You can as well all reach out to Faith if you are looking to get a co-working space. George Elukunda is here. He's going to help you. So keep learning a new skill. It is always a good day for you to learn a new skill. And I think keep improving your life. You can always also, let me say, just be part of such developments. In the next few years, people are just looking for spaces where you can work and also enjoy. Most Gen Zs don't want to be confined in a cubicle. They want to be in a space where they find growth and they can actually be able to thrive. My name is Elvis. Thank you to each and every person who joined this particular conversation. And we keep learning more and more. We're also welcoming you on Saturday to be part of we're going to be having some physical classes in Westlands on communication skills for freelancers. I can share that, the link with you guys. It's a session we're going to be having a lady called Liane Kamau, all right, who happens to be a communications specialist, has been in the industry for quite some time. And we are actually going to be in Skyrise Business Center. We are only offering the tickets for only 12 people. So if you'd like to join the session, I think Susan is going to be sharing the link over here. So you are also most welcome to be part of these. It's part of the weekend challenges that we've been having. But over and above, thank you everyone for joining this conversation. I hope it was impactful and that you have learned something. Thank you and have yourselves a good night.